The Gatemen drop a tough one, 8-4 here at Spillane Field against the Falmouth Commodores. Claudia Chakamian with head coach Don Sneddon. Coach, you were just one strike away. So what is this? Does this say anything about the pitching staff or anything? Does this give you any type of concerns?
No, I mean, that's the game of baseball. As I said earlier, you got to play 27 outs, and you can't stall or anything else like that. And he made a bad pitch. Give them credit. I mean, you got to tip your hat sometimes. There's some good hitters, and Conine left a couple pitches up. But we had other opportunities to score runs ourselves, and we didn't do it and made a couple key errors.
How frustrating is it, or is it frustrating at all for Griffin Roberts, who had a very good outing to start things off?
Yeah, it's always frustrating when you pitch well like that, and we had good middle relief in there. And Conine's going to be fine the rest of the year on that stuff. This doesn't go on him at all. He's a fine reliever, one of the best in the nation.
Now you left some key, had too many men left on base kind of throughout the game. So what do the guys still need to do to get those key hits throughout the entire game?
I wish I had that answer. I just know they need to do that, and we need to be able to clutch up a little bit more if we're going to compete in this league, because you don't get many opportunities, and when you do get them, you got to take advantage of them.
Now you have another off day tomorrow. Do you think that's going to help the team at all to get recharged and rebound for Friday?
No, I think we're ready to play. You know, they would like to play again tomorrow, so would I. The only way to get rid of a loss like that is to come back and get a win the next day. So to have to sit on that for a day, this is not what most players like to do, including myself.
Now you're back on the road on Friday. You've had a few home games, but now you're back. You're at Katuitt on Friday. It's the first time you're seeing them. So what are you looking forward to ahead for that game?
Well, they got a good record. They got a good club, so we're going to have to compete. I mean, anybody can beat anybody in this league on any given night, as we all know. So we're struggling to stay right at 500, as is everybody else in this league.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Claudia. Welcome into the Gatemen postgame show, everybody. Jacob Tobey alongside Sam Corman and Connor Federico. Notice anything different? We have nice mic flags with us tonight.
These are gorgeous.
Yeah,
honestly.
these are great.
Perfect mics.
We can talk at the same time. Is that not cool?
Shout out to Jeff Tufts for getting these ordered.
The treasurer
is a phenomenal treasure, Jeff Tufts.
He is phenomenal.
Same thing all the way around, too. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, exciting stuff. Something that was not really exciting tonight. The Gatemen couldn't come back. They lose 8-4 in 11 innings here at Spillane Field to the Falmouth Commodores, a Western Division foe, and it all went wrong, really, in that ninth inning.
Well, it's the first extra innings game of the season for the Gatemen, but it really didn't have to be that way. They gave up 2 runs in the top of the ninth inning, and for the Gatemen, it was a situation for Brett Conine, who had an outstanding year with Cal State Fullerton, 14 saves, including 2 in a super regional en route to the College World Series appearance for the Titans, and just really, he gave it away tonight. And I'm pretty positive we might not be saying that again, because I'm sure Brett's frustrated with himself tonight and the team. They put on a pretty complete performance. They put up 4 runs, which we've said here at the Gatemen Baseball Network that's really all they need to do, but it wasn't enough tonight.
Yeah, let's not forget situational hitting from the Commodores. 8th inning, they have 2 outs, and they get 2 consecutive doubles, and that drives in the second run that makes it 4-2. And then in the 9th, Brett Conine comes in and gets the first 2 outs pretty quickly. 2 strikes on the batter, never mind, 1 strike away from getting out of this game. And situational hitting, 3 consecutive singles for the Falmouth Commodores on Brett Conine, the top of the order. Just nailed him, and it was a tough one for the Gatemen all around. Especially must have been tough for the hitters who got that little bit of run support, and this was the first time the Gatemen lost this year when scoring 4 runs.
So now they're 6-1 with that stat. It was about to be 7-0. Again, 1 strike away from being 7-0 in games where they score more than 4 runs. Griffin Roberts today, though, what'd you think of his outing?
Oh, Griffin Roberts, once again, spectacular. Let's not forget that Griffin Roberts struck out the first 6 outs of the game for the Gatemen. I'm pretty sure 5 of 6 were looking, and he was just stunning guys again with that backdoor slider. The fastball was there, and the changeup as well. Griffin Roberts, outstanding again. He was a positive for the Gatemen pitching staff, and otherwise, in a game where the pitching staff didn't really have a great game. They used 7 pitchers overall today in the 11 innings.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, 7 pitchers is a lot to use in one game. How does that affect the rotation going forward if you're Jim Lawler, pitching coach?
Honestly, Sam, I thought tonight was an impressive night by the Gatemen pitchers if it's a 9-inning game.
Yeah.
And
of course.
It's not tonight. It's an 11-inning game, and the Falmouth hitters, they doubled their run total from the first 9 innings. They got 4 more runs in the 11th, and it's just, certain pitchers let the innings and the runs and the hits slip away from them tonight. It was a little bit disappointing, but overall, Roberts and Culbertson out of Arkansas State. I thought they were really good.
And to add on that, the extra innings, Riley Gates came in for a few batters, and he just didn't look like he had his stuff. And a good move by Jim Lawler to come in and just say, "Hey, you don't have it tonight. Like it's time to pull it out." And they keep bringing Will Neely, and Neely gets the soft contact that he wanted, except it was just in a bad spot down that third baseline. On Robbie Metz was unable to get it. Let's not forget about that key error early in the game by Robbie Metz either. That was a very big mistake, that throwing error over to first base that caused Falmouth to score their first run.
5 errors tonight. 1, E2, E3, E4, E5.
Go around the diamond, man.
It's really tricky, and you're not going to see nights like this every night in baseball. It happens sometimes, but for the most part, they're called errors because they don't happen a ton. And the Gatemen defense, we talked about it, Jacob, how reliable they've been all year. And I'm sure after a night like tonight where they're all pretty disappointed in themselves, they'll find a way to turn it around.
Yeah, especially a guy like Robbie Metz, who's one of the best defensive players on this team, one of the biggest veterans. I'm sure he understands the mistake he made, and I'm sure he's going to come back and be much better on defense, especially at third base, one of the toughest defensive positions to play.
He came back in the top of the ninth and made an outstanding play where a ball took a quick hop on him, and suddenly he's up here. It was like something out of the Matrix. It was crazy. Made a perfect throw in the first. He came back in that game. He came back in the middle of the game. The Gatemen, now they need to find a way to come back in the middle of their season moving forward.
Yeah, one of those errors was Willie McIver over at first base lets it slip right through kind of the Bill Buckner over at first base. And we saw it last year in the playoffs with Gavin Sheets at first base. That was in game 1 of the playoffs firstborn. He let up the go-ahead, one of the tying runs, I believe, there. This one let up on a run here. So you see that, McIver playing first base for the first time this season. There were some growing pains there.
Yeah, and he also made a spectacular play on a sacrifice bunt where, he was at first base where he's normally used to catching or playing third. He's got to be worried, who's covering my back? He turns around, and thankfully for him, Jaron Duran was there. And it just one bad play went right through his legs. It's baseball. They're errors. It's baseball. It's a blown save. It's baseball. It's an 8-4 loss. These things happen. And the Gatemen team, they might be a little deflated tonight, but tomorrow I'm sure they're going to be practicing during the off day. They might come out to it even stronger than they were yesterday against Hyannis.
Yeah, so this game has major implications right now on the standings. Falmouth jumps to first place. Wareham goes to last place.
And had Wareham won tonight, Wareham would have been tied for first place. It's just crazy how the difference that one game can make here in the Cape League, especially so early in the season. Still, we're about a third of the way through the season, and all 5 teams in that Eastern Division separated by just, I believe it's 3 points, and
which is a game and a little bit more than a game.
Yeah,
so
a game and
a tie. Look at it that way.
If you look at the other division, the Eastern Division, it's about the same. It's just as close, except YD now with 8 wins this year. They look really good, but the standings are in the Gatemen's favor, even though they're sitting at 6 and 9 right now, and the rest of the teams, the parity of the league is kind of working in their way to help them put a win streak together and get back to the top of the division standings.
All right, so the Gatemen lose it here at Spillane Field, 8-4. Off day tomorrow. Then they're back in action at Lowell Park in Katuitt, Mass. Versus the Cavaliers, 5 o'clock first pitch. Catch us on the air at 4:30 with Gatemen pregame live. For Connor Federico, Sam Corman, I'm Jacob Tobey. So long and good night.